Kathy. I hope you're doing well. Well, well, one of us closed the OJ window when we did an update, and now we gotta go the whole way to the bottom to find our spot. And I don't want to do it alone because it's a chore. It's a carpal tunnel chore. Dum dee dum dee dum. Okay, we're half. Nope, we're not. We're not halfway there yet. No, we're not. Okay, we're halfway there. My lord, people, you have watched a lot of OJ. Whoo! I passed it. Oh, these days are good. These days are right there. That woman right there. You can't see what I see. That woman right there in the black shirt. That's the woman that created the Furman tapes. She's the one. She's the reason. But and you know what? Now that I look at this picture, it is absolutely a shoe. Remember the other day, I'm like, what in the world is that? And someone said a shoe. Was it Sandra? I can't remember. Of course it's a shoe. Look at it. But we're here. This is where we are.
And what is...
One moment, sir. First off, your speed is incorrect. Get your speed in order. Second off, the little loopy thing has to be on. I think we're sized good. I feel like that's a good... No, OJ's more square. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Alright, now you may play. Let's go, guys.
a swipe. If a surface have some liquid, blood, ketchup, or anything, if a person use a kitchen towel or a person's clothes, contact and wipe it, that's called wipe. Now this surface have some transfer. If touch a clean surface, now this become a swipe. Wipe and swipe. Both are transfer pattern, but different, which an experienced examiner can tell at the scene which one is which.
Let's mark.
Wipe and swipe. Wipe.
The wipe is when the blood is there,
A surface touch that, brushed over, and that's called wipe.
and the swipe.
Swipe is another surface. For example, my clothing have some blood, touch a clean surface, that's a swipe.
Could you describe for us what are known as contact patterns?
Which we already indicate. A contact pattern can be any surface with some amount of a liquid, finger, shoe, ear, nose, body, touch a surface and cause a direct transfer. That's called a contact pattern. If this bottle touch surface, leave a pattern, that's a contact transfer pattern.
Would you call that a stationary contact?
Yes,
So how would you suggest we label this?
stationary contact.
Stationary contact.
Prosecution are psychos, and they deserve
Is
to
there
lose
such a
right
thing
now. I don't know if you noticed, but they are using a red Solo cup to hold pens. A red Solo cup is designed for alcohol. Period. Only alcohol. You don't store pens in a red Solo cup. Psycho.
Dynamic contact.
It's right behind his head. See it? It's sort of sticking out.
A dynamic contact is with a movement. Contact with a movement. Now you have a pattern with a movement pattern. This movement can cause the deposit surface, receiving surface can be both moved or one surface moved. then we can tell the direction of this movement.
Label this dynamic contact.
With movement.
Dr. Lee, are there any other bloodstain patterns that we believe we should demonstrate to understand your testimony about, that we're going to be discussing about bloodstain evidence at the crime scene?
There are many other patterns. However, some pattern not totally relevant, say such as high velocity blood spatter pattern that's due to gunshot. Or some pattern which difficult to demonstrate arterial spur, arterial gushing, which I really
Don't want to do here.
To do here.
All right. Your Honor, I think this would be...
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take our mid-morning recess. Remember all my admonitions to you. We'll stand in recess for 15 minutes.
Oh, come on, Judge. No, one more. Can we do one more pattern real quick? Can we do a bloody nose? Can we just punch someone right in the nose real quick? Bloody nose pattern. The jury needs to see it. This is for this trial. It's crucial that we have a bloody nose pattern.
Dr. Lee, you can step down.
The Dr. Lee. Not just Dr. Lee, Judge Ito.
Notice the whispering's getting a little loud. Mr. Neufeld being the primary offender in this.
Punch him in the nose.
I know, but he's still the primary offender, because when I can hear counsel talking, and I heard it from both ends. All right, you guys have plenty of post-it notes. You can pass notes. If you need to converse with each other, go back to counsel table.
Text
You're
each
within
other.
Standing and near the rail, you're not to speak to each other. All right. All right, let's have the jurors, please.
I'll be right back. 1 second.
Hold on. Got enough water there, Dr. Lee? All right. All right, are we done with the Gallagher show? Mr. Sheck? All right. All right, did you, I need a catalog of what each one of those things are. All right. It's probably the elevators. All right, Deputy McNair, let's have the jurors, please. Elevators.
Your Honor, should I say Tom Truffle?
Which board are you going to?
Closed in class.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please be seated. All right, let the record reflect that we've been rejoined by all the members of our jury panel. Dr. Henry Lee is again on the witness stand, still undergoing direct examination by Mr. Sheck. And Mr. Sheck, you've placed another board on the
Yes.
on the easel, and this does reflect, has one photograph that reflects the remains. So I'm going to direct Mr. Bancroft to avoid this board.
No, I don't believe it does.
It does.
Oh, yes.
It does. All right, avoid that, Mr. Bancroft. All right, proceed. And do you want to mark this
Yes.
as next in order? This would be defense
1341.
Mrs. Robertson? All right, 1341. Proceed.
Dr. Lee, call your attention now to a board that we've marked 1341 entitled Bloodstain from Closed-in Area of Bundy. With the court's permission, may Dr. Lee
Yes, you may.
get off the witness stand and with the aid of a pointer or whatever else you want to use, Dr. Lee?
All right, Mr. Bancroft, the remains are in the bottom row.
Right-hand photo.
If you can catch the top 2 rows, you can do those. Do not go to the bottom row. Do you understand, sir? Yes, sir. Thank you. Mr. Schick.
Now, Dr. Lee, what does the center picture in this board depict?
The center picture, second row, second line, second column, second row. This depicts an overall view of a corner of a fenced-in area at the Bundy scene.
And, Dr. Lee, are there recognizable blood spatter patterns that are highlighted in the peripheral pictures on this board?
Yes,
Now, whose pictures are these?
those are the pictures supplied to me by Attorney Shapiro.
So these are from, to the best of your knowledge, the prosecution.
Yes, sir.
And with
Rock'em
respect to these
sock'em
bloodstain patterns,
robots.
there are no rulers in these pictures so that we can measure any of these deposits.
I did not see any.
Now, I ask that this photograph be marked as 1341A.
All right, 1341A.
And what is that?
This appear to be a copy. This appears to be a copy of this one.
So 1341A is the original from which a print was made that is the center picture on the board 1341.
I don't think it's an original, probably a copy of another one.
Right. But it's an earlier generation.
Yes.
Okay. Now,
She'll love that.
let me call your attention first to the upper left-hand corner. Could you, do you recognize, that's the one that has the photo card number 119.
109. This one, that's 119.
119. And what does that represent?
This appear to be depict a location of the fence near the gate area.
And could you point out on the center picture the direction that would be?
Appear to be this location.
So that's the front gate area.
Yes.
And what is that bloodstain pattern?
Those are considered as medium velocity cast-off pattern.
And what, if anything, can you determine from that pattern with respect to the blood source?
In this location, it depicts a group of blood stains. However, this picture is slightly out of focus because this is a cylindrical surface. It's not the photographer's first fault because the surface have a curvature. So certain area in focus, certain area out of focus. However, this group of stains shows a direction consistent with from, if I face the picture, left to right. This appear to be indicates a location about approximately 3 feet, 2 inches high from the ground, which means the blood source has to be at least that high, which again indicates the source has to be in a vertical position.
Now, photo number 119, that would be item number 54 on LAPD item numbers as recorded in this case?
I don't know.
Well, when you say 3 foot 2 inches up, you're referring to the measurements recorded by Mr. Fung.
Yes.
So in other words, he recorded these bloodstain items as being 3 feet 2 inches above, up on this pole.
I assume, I don't know which drop, I assume in general location. That's why I say approximate.
Now, what does this indicate? This, would you characterize this as horizontal cast-off pattern?
It's consistent with,
And what would that indicate about the blood? If the source of this blood were a person, would that be consistent with somebody being standing upright?
Yes.
Do you know whose blood that is, or is there any typing indicating whose blood that is, to your knowledge?
I don't know.
Now, which picture would you like to move to next in terms of indicating bloodstain patterns?
We can finish
Please proceed.
column number 1. The next photograph going to be the second picture of column 1. This picture depicts a variety of bloodstain patterns. The first group I noticed is in the center post, which correlate to this location. At the center post, I can see a contact transfer pattern, smear pattern, additional contact transfer pattern, and some dripping pattern on this one area.
Now, what does that indicate with respect to, well, what determinations can you make as to the blood source from that?
Which indicative either somebody clothing or body or surface have a direct contact of this location, cause a transfer. Then subsequently have another contact. At the same time, I see some blood dripping, which means have liquid blood flow downwards.
So, just from that poll, from the two contact smears made at different
You mean
times,
the YouTube
Could be different times.
chat?
could
I
be
just fixed
same.
that. Or do you
And
mean something
blood
else?
dripping down.
Yes.
Like
What
when
other
someone gives
bloodstain
me
patterns do you see in that
cheers?
photograph?
I don't have that fixed
This
yet. It's
area
an easy
depicts
fix. I just haven't
the
done
back
it.
portion of this metal gate. If we start counting this as column 1, 2, 3, 4, I can see star number 5, 6, 7, and 8 have a variety of patterns. We see a contact, we see a smear, we see some swiping pattern, wiping pattern, we see angular deposit, we see vertical driblet, a variety of different patterns appear on this location.
Can we tell anything about the source of that from these photographs?
Those angular deposit, those drop has to be above the surface, have a vertical direction. How high, I cannot tell you, but has to be above. This contact, which means have a direct transfer. And smear on different location means movement.
Movement meaning multiple contact.
Multiple contact with a dynamic movement, either a wipe or swipe type of fashion.
If we could have done measurements, or if measurements had been taken of these bloodstain patterns, would that be more useful information in doing a more complete reconstruction of what occurred and when?
Assumes facts not evidence that any reconstructions exist.
Sustained. Phrase the question.
If measurements had been made at the scene, could that give additional information that could assist in making further determinations as to the source of the blood?
Speculation and vague.
Oral.
If with measurement and clear documentation, maybe we can do some further limit reconstruction.
You indicated you were going to move now to the, this is the bottom left-hand photograph on this board.
Yes. This is a close-up view depict the column 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 and 5th, this location, with a number plate 101, which depicts a beeper-like object. In addition, on the surface, we see transfer pattern wiping, swiping, and dripping. On the ground, I see patterns consistent with a vertical driplet.
Now, that beeper, would that be consistent with the beeper being kicked under that pole?
Well, it's false.
Sustained.
Well, in terms of the soil surface there, would you expect that if the beeper, if dropped from a height, to bounce?
False for speculation.
Oral.
No foundation for
Sustained.
All right. You've been to the Bundy crime scene?
I only visit the scene, as I indicated yesterday, a brief inspection on June 25th. I did not visit the original scene.
But you did see the dirt in that closed-in area.
Yes.
Oral.
And from what you see, would you expect a beeper dropped from some height to bounce on that soil.
No foundation speculation.
Sustained.
Anything else with respect to bloodstain patterns on this photograph of interest?
On the ground, on the leaves and soil, I see multiple drops. Those are consistent with a low velocity blood drops, which indicative the blood source has to be above this area and dripping onto the soil surface.
Would you move now to the picture in the middle of the top row?
The middle of the top row have a number plate 109, which depicts a close-up view showing the back metal fence between the 5th, 6th, and 7th, this area. This photograph is a much better picture, which we can look at a pattern and shows much more detail compared to the previous one. Have a direct contact transfer, have a transfer smear, another dynamic transfer and dripping pattern, further contact pattern, angular deposit, a row of 3. Here have more drops, and in addition, on the ground and the leaf material, we see multiple drops.
Could those drops be from more than one source?
Speculation.
Sustained.
All right. Is there any way from looking at that photograph determining how many individuals contributed to those bloodstain patterns?
No foundation.
Overruled.
I cannot make such determination how many persons contribute those blood drops.
But can you say something with respect to whether or not a source of those blood drops was upright in that area?
Assume those
Vague, no foundation.
Overruled.
Assume those are vertical droplet, which is consistent with vertical droplet. Has to be from a certain height, from one location to another location.
And again, if we could measure, we had measurements of the diameters, we could,
Leading.
if one had, would measurements assist, if they existed, in being able to determine the height from which, of the blood source?
We can estimate from multiple drops. We can maybe estimate the possible height.
Is the data available for you to make those kinds of estimations here?
No.
With the next picture, you would discuss the one on the upper far right-hand corner of this board.
The third column, third picture, first picture of the third column. This picture depicts the reverse side of the same metal fence. Other side.
This would be from the Salinger property looking into the closed-in area.
Salinger property?
The property next door.
Salinger's in Rockingham.
Oh, my apologies. This would be the closed-in area. This would be the building to
North.
north of 875 South Bundy.
Which appears to be.
All right. Could you describe for us the bloodstain patterns here?
Here, besides this long contact pattern, shows the other side, also this contact pattern start dripping, which indicative a quantity of blood deposit on the surface, still wet, running along this curvature surface and come downwards. Large amount of blood pool is underneath here, form a trail in this location. Here is another good example of an angular deposit. Shows in that column, which indicative that drop of blood hit this column in a very acute angle.
Would that bloodstain pattern be consistent with a source being upright,
Yes,
multiple contacts with that area?
this blood drop, no.
Of the pattern?
The totality
Total pattern.
of pattern, which may indicate a multiple deposit.
Moving down to the middle, the right-hand picture, far right-hand side of the middle row.
Yes.
Could you describe the bloodstain patterns here?
This picture depicts a close-up view showing the column on the front, the number 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Number 8 column. That consists of swipe, contact, and movement, which indicative in this column area have some direct contact and cause those transfer.
Incidentally, on the photograph in the middle of the top row, the picture has an evidence card indicating 109.
109.
Is the positioning of that card blocking a view of the bloodstain pattern?
In this particular photo, yes. But there are other photos, no.
With respect to the card number labeled 108, does that obscure a pole?
Well, it's the column next to it appear to be some blood-like stain, which I cannot report to you exactly pattern what it is. Here also have some reddish color stain, and again, I cannot really report to you what kind of pattern. However, this stain on the lower portion shows an angular deposit. Vertical downwards hit this location in an angle.
Now, Dr. Lee, this photograph that's been labeled photo ID number by LAPD 108, that's in a different section of the closed-in area.
Yes.
And you were discussing previously with the other pictures a different part of the closed-in area.
That's correct.
Now, this represents contact.
Another contact.
So, would this mean that there's contact in one part of the closed-in area and then other contact in the other parts of the closed-in area?
Yes.
And with the bloodstain pattern reflected in the photograph 108, would that be consistent with the source or sources being upright?
This particular column, which means a blood source have to have a direct contact with a movement, because we see smear, not a definitive pattern with movement. So is this high? We say this, the source of the contact is this high of the column
With movement.
with a movement.
Now, I'd like to turn your attention to the photograph in the middle of the bottom row.
Yes.
Could you describe that for us, what that
This
represents?
appear to be a close-up photo showing this plant. And with a focus in some key-like material.
Now, when you say this plant, you're indicating a plant that is close to the walkway and the front gate area.
Yes.
And the middle photograph on the bottom row, you say, is keys.
Here, this location appear to be have a setup key. This depicts one of the boots of Mr. Gold.
Your Honor, I'd like to mark a photograph as 1341B, which is a photograph of the key. And I'd like to put that in the envelope and display it to the jury. Perhaps if we could,
Mrs. Robertson? Appears to be a quick set type key.
yes. Could we go in even tighter on the key itself? What do you notice about the key, Dr. Lee?
It appear to be exposed a setup key with one key, the majority of the key sticking out can be visible, that key. On the key, we see some reddish stain, another reddish stain, this area, more stain. There are multiple areas appear to be have reddish color stain.
Your Honor, this is objectionable because there's no evidence that he saw the keys themselves.
Now, Dr. Lee, were the keys available to you for inspection?
No,
Could those reddish stains be consistent with blood?
Make a motion to strike, there's no
Sustained.
foundation for that.
Sustain.
All right, I'd ask that we print this photograph. And would make that 1341C. Dr. Lee, is there anything else about bloodstain patterns or your observations of this key photograph?
direct above the key, some white color object also have multiple area, have some reddish stain.
All right, Your Honor, maybe what I ought to do is have this, instead of the last printout being 1341C, we should make the one printout here of 1341C that, Where-
With the additional arrow
With the
regarding the
additional
white
arrow.
object. Correct. That'll
Okay.
be substituted.
now, before we leave the Elmo, I'd like to show you a photograph that I asked be marked as 1341D that I believe is the same photograph as the one on the left-hand side, showing the beeper in the middle row of the board entitled Bloodstains from Closed-in Area at Bundy. Now, Dr. Lee, did you observe in this photograph anything with respect to the soil?
Yes,
What did you observe?
I see some indentation, impression.
Clear.
Dr. Lee, could you please direct Mr. Harris in terms of focus?
Good, excellent.
Excellent. Here?
Yeah.
Okay. Could you please, with the use of the telestrator, illustrate what you mean by the impressions?
All right, this is the photograph that is the middle photograph, first column, on 1341.
And what is that you've indicated, Dr. Lee?
In this area appear to be a depression on the ground. Appear to be a large indentation in this area with some loose soil.
Would this be consistent with a struggle and people digging out that area?
No foundation, speculation.
Sustain.
Well, Detective Lang testified in this case that
Your Honor, that's the problem.
Overruled. He's an expert. He can be asked about other people's testimony.
Detective Lang testified that this dugout area of dirtness was consistent with Mr. Goldman struggling with someone, and in that struggle, the dirt being dug out.
That misstates the testimony, Your Honor.
Overruled.
What is your judgment of that?
It still calls for speculation.
Overruled.
If he say that consistently, I have no additional opinion.
Now, turning to, is there anything else that of interest in this photograph with respect to impressions or bloodstains that we should notice?
Yes,
What have you?
in this area, I see a impression. That impression is in this area. This area.
Is that impression consistent with a shoe print?
It could be a shoe print.
All right, is that the kind of
Maybe they
impression that
are
can be,
hypnotizing us, Bobby. Do you ever think about that?
preserved, document, and cast?
Come on,
Yes.
guys. Give us something,
All right,
please.
I ask that this be printed out.
All right.
In this case.
And at that time, did you contact anyone in the Los Angeles Police Department or the SID about contributing your services in the investigation?
Not relevant.
Sustained.
Well, did you ask for an opportunity to have access to evidence as it was being tested by anybody at the SID and to participate in that process?
Not relevant, Your Honor.
Overruled.
I did call LAPD laboratory. I know some scientists there were good friends, and I did call the lab director, Michelle Kessler, but she was busy. We talked briefly, and subsequently she asked me to talk to Greg Matheson.
And did you speak to him?
Yes, he's a very nice gentleman and a good scientist. I talked to him, but I know his concern and reservation. We had a brief discussion. Basically, I have to through the attorneys.
At this time, it calls for your
All right,
Well,
let's move on.
without telling us the content of the communication, were you directed to go through the attorneys in terms of your offer and desire to get access to the information?
calls for hearsay, and it's also legal knowledge.
Sustained.
Now, with respect to policies in your own laboratory concerning defense experts, when you were working with the prosecution in investigating
Oh my gosh,
evidence
sorry.
that comes in a case, what is your policy?
Objection, irrelevant, same objection. please.
Sustained.
Should we discuss this at another time?
It's not likely. Proceed.
Dr. Lee, do you have a regular fee for consultations?
Yes,
What is it?
I have a regular fee. Basically, it's $300 per hour. My service.
All right. And did you charge a
I
regular
charge
fee in this case?
$300 an hour too.
What do you are you receiving any money personally for the work you did in this case?
Only reimburse my traveling expenses.
Was there is there other money that is being given by Mr. Simpson for other purposes?
Yes, request a donation.
Objection, Your Honor.
Overruled.
I request in lieu the consultation fee, half of the consultation fee donate to.
Overruled. Where the compensation is going? Overruled.
Half of the compensation goes to University of New Haven, have a scholarship fund for law enforcement officer workshops or young students who want to major forensic science. The other half goes to the Department of Public Safety for the training or equipment or laboratory services.
Now, and how much money to this point has been donated to these two, the University of New Haven and the Connecticut Police Lab?
Approximately, I don't remember exactly. The check just go directly. I just sign it. I don't want to look at it. Just go to the university. Approximately to 25,000 each institution.
Now, what were you asked to do in terms
All right, guys,
of
taking my daughter to work.
this case for the
Be
defense?
right
What
back.
tasks were you asked to perform? What areas?
Basically, involving review some physical evidence and study the crime scene and crime scene pictures, photographs. Try to find the scientific fact, what involves.
Now, Your Honor, I'd like to also put up the photograph that has been marked 1341A.
All right, let's clear the illustrator, please.
All right. Now, Dr. Lee, did you see in this photograph any other impressions of interest?
All right, and this is the center picture, center column on 1341.
Object to the phrase of interest.
Overruled.
In this area, shows again, the hall. this is difficult. Well, we shall see it how. In the top corner.
The top right-hand corner is the hole we just discussed before?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, this area.
Okay.
And directly underneath to this hall, this area, another possible imprint, indentation, not imprint, I'm sorry, impression.
Could you, or should we ask Mr. Harris to label the arrows, the hole, and the circle? Why don't we call it IMP for impression, and that won't do it.
Well, I think the jury heard the testimony, so
Okay.
what it is, their attention's been focused on it.
Okay.
We've already heard other testimony from other witnesses that there were these
All right, they're different from the hole.
yes.
That's fine. Is there anything else about this photograph?
No.
Okay.
I mean, have we decided to mark that 1341F?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor.
F as in Frank.
Now, Dr. Lee, looking at all the photographs on this board, bloodstains from closed-in area at Bundy, would it be fair to say at this point that at different areas of this closed-in area we have contact smears?
Yes,
Is that indicative of that we have vertical droppings?
yes,
Would the vertical droppings be
Bleeding.
Overruled.
indicative of an upright source?
Sustained.
All right. Is there indication of, through the bloodstain patterns, of multiple contacts in this closed-in area?
yes,
Is there indication of movement, dynamic contact movement in this closed-in area?
Bleeding.
Overruled.
Your Honor, the last photo that we want to deal with, I think we can turn up the lights. The last one is the far right-hand one that contains remains. Dr. Lee, I call your attention to the photograph in the bottom right-hand area. What is that?
this appear to be depicts a view of the saw of Mr. Goldman's left boot.
And what is it about, could you describe for us the bloodstain pattern, its relationship to the soil on this boot?
Appear to be contact pattern on various locations of these boots, which indicative at one point in time, this portion of the boots have to step into the blood with movement that's caused those smears.
So in other words, the boot would have to move onto the surface, and then the soil would become caked on the blood?
Soil, yeah, will intermix with liquid blood.
And before we leave this board, Dr. Lee, can keys be used as a weapon in a fight?
Speculation, no foundation.
Sustained.
In your experience investigating homicides, can keys be used as a weapon?
Speculation, no foundation.
Sustained. But counsel, we have to trust the common sense of our jurors, don't we?
Okay. In terms of doing a reconstruction, well, withdrawn. Is there any other point of interest with respect to the bloodstain pattern on the boot?
Yes,
What is it?
in this area we see some blood drops. The direction of this drop, it appears to be strange. It's inconsistent with somebody stepping to it. This drop has to be deposited on the surface at the angle.
Now, Dr. Lee, looking at the bloodstain patterns and the impression evidence in this closed-in area, is it consistent with a prolonged struggle between Mr. Goldman and assailant or assailants?
Vaguest, prolonged, speculation, no
It's
foundation.
consistent with a struggle.
Still, same objections,
Overruled.
Yes,
Can you tell how long that struggle took place?
no foundation.
Overruled.
I cannot tell you exactly how long. It's not a short struggle.
Motion to strike, made.
Oral.
And the basis for saying not a short struggle has to do with what?
The blood stain pattern, the deposit of the key beeper in different location, the blood stain smears, contact pattern under the boots, and vertical droplet in different location, which shows a movement.
Is there anything else that we have not mentioned with respect to the bloodstain patterns that is of importance on this board before we move to the next one?
No.
I'd like to move to a board that we would call 1342.
All right, are there any remains on this board, Mr. Shek?
No, there is not, Your Honor.
Which board is this?
This is the board entitled Evidence from Closed-In Area at Bundy. Now, Dr. Lee, I call your attention to the photographs in the top row depicting first Mr. Goldman's boots and secondly the sole trace evidence. What are these photos?
This board consists of a composite of 6. The top row, the 3, is related to Mr. Goldman's boot. The bottom 3, 1 depicts an overall view of a blue jean. Second, the middle one depicts a portion of Mr. Goldman's shirt. The third one depicts 2 buttons, which recover when I examine this particular garment.
And that was where, when you recovered the buttons?
Where I examined this garment, Albany Medical Center, New York.
And that was when?
That's February 18, 1995.
And that was the first time you had an opportunity to actually physically examine it?
Yes.
And that was well into a period of time into this trial. Started when?
There's no foundation for this.
Sustained. It's leading also, but the jury knows when we started the trial.
Right. I don't,
Better-
but they do.
They do.
Okay. I'd ask you to discuss the significance of the first picture showing Mr. Goldman's boot.
Yes.
What does the bloodstain pattern and dirt patterns there indicate?
The blood stain pattern basically is a saturated pattern, which indicative a large amount of blood had deposited onto the surface. Large amount of soil, debris-like material was noticed caked on the blood stain surface, which indicative soil would deposit, meanwhile the blood still wet, which is a further indication consistent with the hole, the loose soil in the previous board I show you in a closed-in area.
So in other words, that the bloodstain pattern with the soil caked on the blood of this boot is consistent with digging in that hole that you described previously by the fence and the
That's
closing pattern.
speculation, conjecture, the foundation.
Oral.
Now, could you describe for us the pattern of trace evidence pattern in the middle picture?
Yes, this picture was provided by me, by the defense counsel. It appears to be taken at the coroner's office. Soil, debris, hair fiber-like material was noticed on the middle of this gouged pattern area. Loose soil were noticed on this piece of white paper.
What does this indicate again about in terms of bloodstain patterns and trace evidence with respect to Mr. Goldman's boot?
When I examined the boots, I did not see those material anymore. Assume those are hair and fibers, which indicative this portion of the boot near the heel have to step onto a surface, has soil, have hairs, have fibers, and embed into this area and cause the transfer.
So in other words, the soil on the ground, if the soil on the ground had hair and fiber in it, and a boot with blood on it stepped in it, that would be consistent with the pattern you see in this photograph.
Bleeding.
Sustained.
Would it be consistent with the pattern you see in this photograph that a boot stepping into soil with trace evidence on it, and either the boot or the soil had blood, you would see this kind of trace evidence pattern?
Yes, but you don't need necessarily have blood. Just a certain force can force the soil fiber embed into the pattern.
Now, call your attention to the photograph on the far right-hand side. What is that?
This is a close-up view, shows the top of the plastic rubber area of this boot, the front part.
Whose photograph is that?
Mine.
And when did you take that?
February between 1995 and sometime. I don't remember exactly hour, minute I took this photo.
Is that a cut?
Yes,
And is that cut consistent with coming from a knife?
a sharp instrument.
Speculation or foundation.
Sustained foundation.
From the cut, what kind of instrument could cause it?
Same objection.
Foundation, counsel.
Do you have experience, Dr. Lee, in examining items of clothing and shoes with respect to punctures and other damage to them?
Compound.
Oral.
Yes,
How much experience?
I cannot measure the experience. I've been in my present job for approximately 17 years. During the course, I examined a lot of the clothing, shoes, object with puncture, cut, damage, and other material, damage of the surface. I do study those.
What is your opinion of the damage you see to Mr. Goldman's boot,
That's consistent with a sharp instrument.
such as a knife?
Yes.
And can you tell us something about whether or not that cut is fresh or represents recent damage?
Speculation.
Oral.
No foundation.
Sustained.
Well, first, can I ask him, can I elicit his opinion and then the basis?
Yes.
Do you have an opinion as to whether or not that is a fresh cut?
Same objections.
Oral.
Yes.
And what is the basis for that opinion?
Based on my direct observation and microscopic examination of this cutting area,
And what is your opinion?
it's consistent with a fresh cut.
And why is that?
The surface of this sneaker, you can see it's pretty dirt, a lot of dirt, a lot of weathering. This cutting area exposed is white, fresh in this groove area. That indicates it has to be recent.
Now, can you tell anything about the direction of this cut?
We see parallel line on this portion of the shoes. This cut is against this line. The cut appears to be from the left moving to the right with a slight curvature. This approximately 1.5 centimeter long. The tail end, I can see, is start lifting. In other words, the depth in the front end is much deeper than the tail end, which indicative of movement.
Would this be consistent with the sneaker not being on the ground when the cut occurred?
More likely, it's not on the ground.
It's more likely that when this cut occurred, that sneaker was not on the ground.
Yes.
And did the sneaker meet the sharp instrument in the same direction or plane? Or can you describe that, how this contact would occur?
This cut, which is different than a step, it's a surface. It indicates a movement. Either the sharp instrument was moved, or this receiving surface was moved, or both surfaces moving at the same time.
With your hands, can you indicate how that could occur?
Let's say my left hand is the sneaker. If my right hand, the cutting instrument. can be moving a direction, can be close move in the same opposite direction. Or this cutting instrument is stationary, and however, the receiving surface is moving.
Would this cut be consistent with Mr. Goldman kicking towards someone with the sharp instrument and the sharp instrument striking the boot?
Speculation.
Sustain.
If that sneaker were, as you say, it's more likely that the sneaker was not on the ground at the time that cut was made.
Yes.
Would that be consistent with a kicking movement and the sneaker then being struck by a sharp instrument?
Speculation.
Sustain.
Is there anything else in terms of bloodstain evidence or no? Okay. Can we turn then to the jeans? Could you describe for us bloodstain pattern here and what it represents?
This photo was taken again in February 18 and 1995 at Albany Medical Center. Depicts the real view of the blue jean,
This is the back of the jeans.
the back of the blue jean. The back of the blue jean shows large amount of blood stain. In the top portion, that consistent with a direct contact transfer and blood soak into the surface. In the middle portion, we see this brush tail fashion end, which indicative that's a contact smear movement. The lower portion, we see some drops and individual pattern, some contact transfer pattern. And here, we see a multiple deposit pattern, blood on top of the blood.
Now, is it important to have photographic documentation, if possible, of a victim's clothing as it is found at the scene?
Yes,
Why is that?
because this pattern can cause by secondary changes. When bodies start moving, or carry out, or drag out, or putting the body back, or bring the body back to autopsy table. Each time a movement can create new patterns. Once those new patterns created, very difficult for us to tell which one is which by which transfer.
Any other bloodstain patterns of interest, or with respect to the jeans?
The gene shows a lot of blood.
Turn now to the buttons. Could you describe how those photographs are taken?
This photograph also taken February 18, 1995, when I examined this shirt of Mr. Goldman. The shirt, when I examined, as you can see, have greenish, whitish, mold-like material start growing. Make it the interpretation of the pattern almost impossible. What I did notice is some button missing. The total 3 buttons appear to be separate from his shirt. The number 3 position, number 5 position, number 6 position. A portion of the plastic-like material and thread still attached on those locations. Subsequently examined this shirt on the left breast pocket. I recover an envelope. Inside the envelope have 2 buttons. Each of these buttons, the center portion of the plastic missing. The button itself is about 1 centimeter in diameter. In other words, we have
No question pending.
Sustain. Next question.
What does the fact that the buttons pattern and the inside of the buttons indicate in terms of issues of force?
Speculation, conjecture, no foundation.
Overruled.
Since the thread still intact in the location, things have appear to be plastic-like material, which indeed could be suggest those buttons was separated with certain force.
Now, if a criminalist were to remove buttons from a shirt for purposes of some analysis, what is the proper procedure for doing so?
Irrelevant.
Sustain.
Well, are buttons potentially important evidence in assessing a crime scene? Buttons on a victim's shirt.
Calls for a legal conclusion.
Overruled.
Yes, button often indicates to us the location. If the button dropped in a certain location, which may indicate in that particular location a force applied, one of the buttons fall onto the surface. By studying the pattern, we can look at it, whether or not center is still intact or not. If the center broken, which you have to have certain force to separate.
Would it be proper in analysis for a criminalist to pull a button off a shirt and remove the center?
Not relevant.
Overruled.
I never do those things, but I really cannot answer.
Would you expect that that had
I
been
don't
done?
expect anybody to do that.
Okay. So, assuming that a criminalist had not forcibly removed the buttons from the shirt, what does the pattern that you see in the photograph labeled broken buttons indicate with respect to the issue of force?
Asked and answered.
Overruled.
Assume this button was separate at the time of incident, which could indicative a struggle and force was applied.
Now, Dr. Lee, looking at this evidence from the closed-in area depicted on this board, is the patterns you find on Mr. Goldman's shoes, boots, and the buttons consistent with a struggle?
Yes,
Is it consistent with a struggle where a sharp instrument made contact with Mr. Goldman's sneaker while it was not on the ground?
Asked and answered. Speculation.
It's asked and answered. We've answered that question twice now.
Well, it's a summary question, Your Honor, because,
I understand, but we've
all right,
Dr. Lee's answered this question twice already.
Your Honor, we're finished with this section, and I'm moving to a new board. I have 6 minutes, but it's your pleasure.
Use the 6 minutes.
Okay. Board entitled Evidence Found, Eyeglasses Envelope, Envelope at Bundy Scene, and we've marked that 1343.
All right, so marked.
And, Your Honor, there are no remains on these photographs.
All right, Mr. Bancroft.
Dr. Lee, could you describe for us these photographs and the meaning of the two indications of position 1 and position 2?
yes. This photograph, this board, actually a composite of 4 different pictures. These 4 different pictures can divide it in 2 groups. The top row represent one group, the bottom row represent the second group. The first group, first column, first picture, which indicative at the time this photo was taken, the blanket was not used to cover this area, depicts in this photo a certain position of this envelope.
And the record should reflect Dr. Lee is pointing to the photograph on the upper left-hand column, which we have evidence is Detective Furman pointing downwards and has pointed to what is known as the envelope and the piece of paper.
Yes.
The second photograph, first row, first column, second one, indicates this photo was taken after the previous one. A blanket was used, and this is the position of this envelope. The next,
Moving to the envelope on the upper right-hand corner and comparing it to the envelope in what is indicated as position 1 and the envelope in position 2, are there differences?
Yes.
This is cumulative.
I assume this will be brief.
Well, yeah, this is an introductory to a whole series of boards, Your Honor, about the differences.
Proceed.
okay. This shows this envelope. It's in two different positions. The envelope has been moved since the first picture taken to the second picture.
You're indicating here
That's a landmark.
that's a groove in the tile.
Groove in the tile. The previous one, this envelope is
Aren't we
to
talking,
the,
excuse me, aren't we talking about grouting in between tiles, not grooves in tiles?
That's probably more correct, Your Honor. Thank you. Grouting in the tiles,
Between tiles.
between tiles.
yes.
Let the record reflect Dr. Lee has taken a piece of red tape and drawn it from grout to grout.
Yes.
And are we going to move on in other boards and pictures you've shown us to show changes, differences between the envelopes and the two positions?
Sure.
All right, let's take our break at this time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take our recess for the noon hour. Please remember all my admonitions to you. Don't discuss this case amongst yourselves. Most importantly, don't form any opinions about the case. Don't conduct any deliberations until the matter has been submitted to you. Don't allow anybody to communicate with you with regard to the case. We'll stand in recess for 1 hour. Dr. Lee, you may step down. You're ordered to come back at 1 o'clock. Thank you. All right, back on the record in the Simpson matter. All parties are again present. Jury is not present. All right, Deputy Magner, let's have the jurors, please.
At some point I can indicate it, but I thought it would be this afternoon. We were going to go to the SOX, and we had to resolve the stipulation question. I thought you would ask Mr. Goldberg.
Sometime this afternoon, all right. The Sox, do you have an extra copy of that stipulation? And more importantly, have you had the opportunity to discuss it with Mr. Goldberg? Well, the stipulation is agreement between the parties as to the evidence. If you can't agree amongst yourselves, then... Right. All right, let's have the jurors. If there's no stipulation.
My request, as the court noted, is that you take judicial notice of what was said on the record, and that at the time that this was done, I made an objection to the court, and it was done with the full knowledge that the only two witnesses in the room, aside from Dr. Lee, were the two lawyers who were sitting next to him, myself and Mr. Blazier, and the other side are Mr. Harmon and Mr.
All rise.
All right, with court order, please. All right, Dr. Lee, would you resume the witness stand, please? Record should reflect that we've been rejoined by all the members of our jury panel. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Dr. Henry Lee is again on the witness stand undergoing direct examination by Mr. Scheck. And good afternoon again, Dr. Lee.
Good afternoon.
Doctor, sir, you were reminded you were still under oath, and Mr. Scheck, you may continue with your direct examination.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Dr. Lee, over lunch, did you have an opportunity to place some red tape on the board entitled Closed-in Area of Bundy?
Yes.
And does this red tape reflect the different portions of the central photograph that you were discussing in your testimony with the jury?
Yes.
And at various times you pointed to one photograph and explained its relation to the other. And does this red tape reflect what you were testifying to this morning?
This red tapes basically indicate the location which I explained this morning and shows the general correlation between one photograph to another.
Thank you. This, for the record, is 1349.
Yes, thank you.
Dr. Lee, we ended the morning by discussing the envelope and the two different positions. Do you recall that, sir?
Yes.
All right, now I move to the next exhibit, which would be marked 1344, and this one is entitled Evidence Found, Eyeglasses Envelope at Bundy Scene. And Dr. Lee, I would ask you, if you could, to come down and discuss this with us.
Sure.
All right, this has no remains, correct?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Scheck, if you would tell me that, since it's,
Yes.
I can't tell which one we're talking about here. Mr. Bancroft, may I see that, please? Thank you.
Now, Dr. Lee, could you explain what the photographs on this board reflect?
This board consists of 6 photographs. I took this photograph on February 18, 1995 at Albany Medical Center. The first photograph depicts an overall view when this item taken out from the boxes. Shows item number 39, a brown paper bag inside of a plastic bag. First column, second photograph, depicts a close-up view of this top opening of the brown paper bag. Have a scotch tape. That scotch tape depicts in this area. There are trace material. Some are consistent with blood crust. Was noticed on those plastic scotch tape. The middle column are those vegetative debris found inside of the brown paper bag. Predominantly consists of a leaf material. However, on the leaves, there are hairs and fiber-like trace was noticed. In addition, blood-like crust also noticed on the leaf, which depicts a close-up view, shows one of the leaf in column number 2, photograph number 2. Some of the blood crust is clearly flaked out the original location. Other still adhere on the surface. The next 2 photographs depicts the envelope inside this plastic bag. Column 3, top view, depicts the front portion of this envelope with some writing and some blood-like stain. Column number 3, photograph 2, depicts an overall view of this envelope, which shows large amount of blood spatter were noticed on the surface of this backside of the envelope.
Any other observations with respect to this?
Basically, at one point in time, those material probably collect with those envelope together and place in a brown paper bag.
Speculation, motion to strike, no foundation, personal knowledge.
Call roll.
This board will be marked as 1345.
All right,
And it's
1345.
entitled, Evidence Found, Eyeglasses Envelope, Evidence Found at Albany Medical Center.
These four,
Wait. Question.
The question is, Dr. Lee, could you please explain the photographs on this board?
Calls for a narrative.
It does. Let's do it one at a time.
All right? Dr. Lee, start please with the overall view in the center.
the overall view of the center picture depicts the items I found inside of the envelope and a brown paper bag, which consists a pair of eyeglasses. However, only one lens was found.
Now, are you familiar with the testimony of Dr. Baden and Dr. Wolf that on June 22nd, when they were at the Los Angeles Police Department laboratory with Michelle Kessler, they observed the eyeglasses with two lenses?
Your Honor, that misstates the evidence.
Sustain.
They observed in a bag eyeglasses with two lenses within the bag.
That also misstates the evidence.
Sustain.
Are you aware of the testimony of Dr. Baden?
It's
That
also,
would-
counsel, it's also argument. The jury was here, has heard the testimony, they know the state of the record. Ask the questions about what's there, please.
All right. In the records you have received with respect to discovery in this case, do you have any records indicating what happened to the other lens?
Not relevant.
Roll.
No,
Call your attention now to the picture in the upper left-hand column indicating eyeglasses with single lens. Could you describe the evidence pattern there?
this picture depicts when the time we remove the eyeglasses out the envelope. I found this lens already out of the eyeglass. The left lens is single lens. It's a bifocal type of a lens. The right side lens appear to be missing. On this remaining lens, there are smears and debris on the lens itself. Also noticed are material on the earpiece of the eyeglass.
And where is that reflected?
This reflects the earpiece on the right-hand side. There are some reddish color material here.
That indicates the photograph on the bottom left-hand column of this board indicating trace evidence on earpiece.
Yes, sir.
Now, is there a close-up photograph of what you described as the smear on the lens?
Yes.
Could you describe that for us?
On the third column, top front, the picture depicts a close-up view of this lens. Reddish blood-like smear can be seen on the top of the lens.
What is the photograph on the bottom right hand?
The bottom right hand depicts a further close-up view for this portion of the lens have large amount of trace material. Those trace material consist predominantly of soil, blood cross, fiber, and hair-like material.
Now, Dr. Lee, does the smearing you saw on this lens, is that consistent with someone touching the lens of the glasses?
Calls for speculation.
Sustain.
Based on the pattern that you see on the lens, can you describe the mechanism that would be consistent with creating that pattern?
Yes.
What is it?
At one point in time, a small amount of blood-like substance have contact this portion of the lens, cause a transfer.
Could that transfer be consistent with a finger smearing the lens?
Speculation, same objections.
Sustain.
Well, in terms of mechanisms, what kind of mechanisms could cause that kind of smearing?
Same objections.
The jury's already occurred what's called smearing.
Well, Your Honor, I'm just trying to
I understand.
elicit the mechanisms.
He's told us smearing. Proceed.
Can smearing be caused by manipulation with someone's fingers?
Or
It could be.
Dr. Lee, is it possible to lift fingerprints from glass?
You can develop latent print on a glass, subsequently you can lift the fingerprint. First you have to develop.
Now, are the reddish materials here consistent just by observation with blood?
Maybe, maybe not. I did not do any test.
When you examine, I'm sorry, you're best to finish your answer?
Yeah.
At the Albany Medical Center, when you examined this, were you allowed to test this in terms of the order?
My order is I can only do physical observation, microscopic examination, and photographing. Measurement cannot remove or cutting or doing destructive test.
Now, Dr. Lee, assuming, well, withdrawing, from the photographs of the crime scene, where are the glasses in relation to the envelope? Are they inside or outside?
Inside.
All right. Is the smearing pattern you observed consistent with someone manipulating that envelope and touching the glasses inside of it?
Same objections to previous questions.
there were many. Which one do you want?
No foundation, speculation calls for conclusion.
Sustain.
Let's move to the next word, in terms of foundation.
$13.46.
Yes, entitled Evidence Found, Eyeglasses Envelope, Bloodstain Evidence on Envelope. Dr. Lee, could you please describe for us the bloodstain patterns depicted on this board?
This board consists of, again, 6 individual photographs. Depicts various views on the back of this envelope, the back side of the envelope.
No foundations to photos were taken.
Forward.
Dr. Lee, when were these photographs taken?
Was taken on February 18 to 19 in 1995 at Albany Medical Center.
Please proceed with your description of the bloodstain pattern as depicted on the board.
The bloodstain pattern on the back of the envelope consists a great amount, over hundreds of bloodstain patterns. What the photograph depicts only certain sections. The top row, middle column, shows if I look at the envelope in the back directly, it's on my left-hand side. If I'm an envelope, it should be on the right. So basically it depends which side you're looking at. Here, clearly have another imprint, consistent like a shape of an E, which later was identified consistent with a portion of the saw pattern of a Bruno magnet. Besides that, we have large amount of blood drops, blood spatter, blood smear cover the whole area. This area alone probably consists 200 or more individual bloodstains. The most interesting one is one in the lower middle portion here. A crease was noticed on the envelope. This was enlarged, which depicts in the photograph on the third column top view. I'm showing here, that's the crease. Here, have a blood pattern, 2 patterns, looks like a mirror image, which suggests this portion and this portion could have a contact. Meanwhile, the blood still wet.
Dr. Lee, could you, with the red tape, please indicate where the mirror image is on bloodstain pattern number 1 and what you just described in the photograph, close-up view of 1B?
Yes.
Now, Dr. Lee, in order to obtain a mirror image pattern such as this, what state does the blood have to be in?
Blood has to be in liquid state. Cannot be a blood stain. Still wet in a liquid state.
So would this mirror image pattern be consistent with someone folding or manipulating this envelope while the blood depicted in the close-up view of 1B is still wet?
Calls for speculation, no foundation, conjecture.
Well,
Yes, inconsistent.
Could you please now turn to the close-up view 1A and indicate where that is on bloodstain pattern number 1? Dr. Lee, I have to ask you a question first. Dr. Lee, could you please describe the bloodstain patterns in close-up view 1A?
The close-up view 1A depicts an area on the when I face the envelope on the right-hand corner with blood smear, blood spatter. That's an angular deposit. Afterwards.
So, may I ask you, could you indicate with a pen the smear and put down 1 next to it, indicating that's first, and the spatter, maybe SM for smear, SP for spatter. So in other words, the smear had to come first, and then spatter after that.
Yes.
Anything else with respect to this bloodstain pattern?
In addition, a small drop consistent vertical deposit. Those consistent with an impact splash pattern with an angular deposit.
Now, are those, is this smear, is that what you call a dynamic?
Yes, movement, have a lateral movement, dynamic contact.
Is that smear, can that be caused, can a mechanism for that smear be a hand brushing against the envelope?
Speculation, conjecture, no foundation.
Sustained.
Is the smear consistent with the mechanism of a hand brushing against the envelope?
Objections, also argumentative.
Sustained.
All right? Can you tell us what kinds of mechanisms are consistent with the scientific evidence you see here of that smear?
Same objections.
Yes,
And what kinds of mechanisms?
the contact mechanism of this, a surface have to have some wet blood. Has to have a direct contact with a movement. The movement here is from the left to right, being a lateral movement.
Anything else about the bloodstain patterns of interest on the top row? All right, could you please move to bloodstain pattern number 2?
Bloodstain pattern number 2 is depicts the envelope upper, if I face the envelope upper right corner of this envelope. And multiple bloodstain pattern can be seen in this location. Over hundreds of bloodstain can be counted in this area too. The most important observation of this area consists of 3-4 areas. Close-up view number 2A, which depicts this area, a teardrop type of pattern, a vertical droplet pattern, a contact transfer pattern, additional spatter pattern.
Could you please, with the red tape, indicate for the jury the relationship of the close-up view two-way to the bloodstain pattern number 2.
Talk about timing. Malta, thank you.
Now,
Do you want to know something,
So you've
Malta?
indicated here that we have a contact impression.
So, none of this is going to surprise you.
Which one is that?
You shut up. I am talking. I had enough of your voice droning on for freaking months and months. Malta, you want to know something, Malta? Ford Broncos, like back in the day, Ford Broncos, not today's Ford Broncos. They're not Ford Broncos. We're not going to talk about Ford. Today's Fords. We're going to talk about real Fords, Mustangs, Broncos, back in the day. I mean, I was just in love with those. I would get excited when I saw one on the street and I was driving down in my little Mustang. There's a Bronco. My friend had a cherry Bronco. Oh my God, it was so nice. I would definitely buy a Bronco. Back in the day Bronco. You guys know what I'm talking about. You know, the ones you off-road with, the boxes. The big boxes on wheels. Loved them. I loved them. And then, make this make sense, those Mazda Miatas. Oh man. Back in 1987. Think about, no, go 4 years ahead of time. Think about a 1990, 1991 Mazda Miata. Those, or a Ford Bronco. It was either one for me. But instead I got my Mustang, which I loved. I do love Ford. It's, you know, when I was in high school, I got my state inspection license, and Ford was going to pay me to go through their, oh God, what is it called? I used to know this. The Ford program where you become a Ford technician. They took me to their school, and they you know, showed me everything. And then also there was another company that wanted me to go to theirs, and I, for the life of me, gun to my head, I would never be able to tell you what the name of this was. But it was a trucking company, and they wanted me to work on trucks. I don't mean F-150s. No. I mean pistons this freaking big. And I took a look at the piston. I'm like, are you crazy? I said no to the Ford school because I couldn't stand the men, and it was all men. I went through auto mechanics for a whole year, and I was the only girl there, and I could not stand them. The guys are just terrible to girls. Back then, girls weren't allowed to work on cars. So if they did, it was like I was personally attacking them. By holding a wrench in my hand, I was personally attacking them. And God forbid if I couldn't do something. Like if a bolt or a nut I couldn't crack, I did not hear the end of it. A Miata with a 302? Could you imagine? Could you imagine a Miata with a 302? Okay. Anyway, so I said, nope, ain't gonna do it. And then the trucks, they gotta be crazy. I couldn't. There was no way I could. The pistons were this freaking big. What was I supposed to do with that? So, sorry. I was able to do everything the guys were able to do, just differently. I had to do things differently. Like, if I wanted to tighten something the way they tightened things without a torque wrench, I had to put a pipe on the end of my wrench, and then I had to tighten it from way over here. But I was still able to do it. It's just one tiny little extra step. Just slide him. I had a pipe with me everywhere I went, because I never knew when I had to break a lug, break a nut. I had my pipe with me, or the wrench is locked together perfectly. If you don't have a pipe, you can just lock a wrench with another wrench. You know, the little thing fits in the hole, and then you could just. But well, maybe we can drive the caddy now, but sure is loud. Is that what a Cadillac's supposed to sound like, Josh? I don't care. I drive the Mazda. He's a grown adult. He's 22 years old. He can figure out that car. Right? Sorry, that was a sideline. We're talking about blood, people. Get on topic. Blood, splatters and spatters and wipes and smears and... Malta, thank you, Malta,
After
thank you.
proceed to the
Oh, I
contact
didn't heart it
Pattern.
and like it.
We have a
Thank you,
droplet?
Malta.
Yes,
We have spatter.
yes.
Now, can you tell from this pattern which of these came first?
Some
Chicken.
area I
Chicken.
can
Sorry.
tell, other area I cannot.
Now we're
For
back to
example,
food.
This one I can tell deposit after this group of
We are the only ones that
items
can talk about food
has to be
while
upon
looking
the
at all this
first.
blood.
It clearly shows this on top, the rest of it. As far this one, I cannot tell when was deposited.
However, could the ones that you can't tell which came first or second, could they have come at the same time?
Some of those more likely from different time.
White
So your
meat
judgment
comes
is it's more likely that
first.
they came at different times, but you can't tell which
White
came
meat
first or
came
second.
first. I'll
Yes,
tell you why.
because
Do you guys remember Roy Rogers? It was a chicken. It was sort of like KFC and Popeyes, and it was Church's chicken. It was sort of like that, but we also had like roast beef, right? Well, they hired a lot of high school kids. I know this because I got a job there when I was in high school, and I worked there all 4 years of high school. Yep, that's where I worked, Zach. So if you ever went in there, I was probably there. I was always there. I lived there. I went to school. I went to work. I stayed at work. I mean, I did have some fun when I was little. I did, but mostly I worked. I worked hard all my life. Many jobs. I never only had one job. So when you started working there, lots of kids would be confused about what is white meat and what is dark meat. I don't understand that because having a deep love of chicken, having grown up with a deep, truly soulful love of chicken, I know a white meat piece from a dark meat piece, but the white meat comes first because you want to know why? They tell you it's the best in the wing than our white meat because it flies towards the sun. And then the legs and the thighs are dark meat because they're not closer to the sun. And now you know. Yep, I remember Rex. I did not work there. And I remember right down the street from Roy Rogers, there was oh, jeez, I can't believe I can't remember it. They had all-you-can-eat pizza on Mondays. It was the best pizza. Then it became Joe and Paul Krause's car lot. Now it's... oh my God. I listen, I can't believe I cannot remember this pizza place's name. I went there all the time. It was like part of my DNA, this pizza place. It was right down the street from Roy Rogers, right when you were going up the hill and the bridge on the right. No, it was way before then. This was back when it was Roy Rogers. Papadino's Pizza. Do you know before Roy Rogers was Roy Rogers, it was Gino's Pizza. It was a pizza place.
Angular and
We love pizza
vertical
in Lancaster.
droplet cannot be created by same motion.
Would this kind of blood pattern that we see on 1A and 2A be consistent with struggle between two individuals around this envelope?
Speculation, projection, no foundation.
It could indicate dynamic movement, different time contact, could be consistent with this.
Okay. Any other observations of interest?
I tell
with
them that all
respect
the
to
time.
close-up on the
I live
view
right
2A?
there,
View 2A,
right on Princess Avenue, right there.
in the
Grew
lower
up
portion
there.
middle, have a place labeled 1-B, something like that, have one drop. This drop, the side appear to be diluted, and a swab motion appear to apply into this drop. This indicates this drop has been sampled by laboratory examiner to type this drop.
And on this photograph, are there initials there?
No, just
It is
one V.
a B,
Yeah.
indication of B. Now, could you move to close-up view 2B? What does the close-up view 2B indicate in terms of the pattern?
Close-up view 2B consists of a heavy bloodstand. On top of the bloodstand, caked with some soil debris. In addition, numerous hair, fiber-like material adhere on this surface.
Now, what is the fact that this debris, soil and fiber, is caked on the surface, what does that indicate about the mechanism of transfer?
This area indicates blood has to be deposited on an envelope first. Subsequently, the soil, hair, fiber, debris was deposited on top of this blood-staining area. And during this drying and coagulation process, this material caked onto the surface.
So this debris came onto the surface while the blood was still wet?
Yes.
Now, Dr. Lee, show you two additional photographs that are not on this board that,
1345?
well, should we make them subdivisions of the board even though they're not on it? It's the court's preference.
No, let's make them subsequent.
Okay. So this would be 13,
47?
47, and 48?
Yes.
Show you two photographs that have been marked 1347 and 1348 and ask you if you recognize them.
Yes.
What are they?
It's two pictures which depict 1347, the mid portion of this envelope. 1348 is this faint area of this envelope.
Could you, in the two areas you've indicated, write 1347 in the area depicted in the photograph 1347 and 1348 for the area of 1348? And Your Honor, with permission of the court, I'd like to place 1347, 1348 first on the honor. I
Proceed.
ask that Dr. Lee approach the telestrator and direct Mr. Harris on focusing in on the areas of interest. Dr. Lee, look,
Hi, Sherazad.
please tell us when it's in the correct position.
That's the correct.
Dr. Lee, what pattern is depicted, what kind of pattern is depicted by 1348?
I speak to him every day. I want him to do a live with me. He said he would do one on Thursday, but I have strong doubts that he meant it because it's Christmas. I think he was being funny. I'm going to get him to do a live with me, don't worry. Don't you worry. It's coming. I got content ready, all Florida cases. I have content already ready for a live stream
This
with
is a
Bill.
composite area which appear to be have some rich pattern on there.
Now, that ridge pattern, that is an imprint,
That's an imprint, considered as an imprint pattern.
and that imprint pattern, the ridges, Are those consistent with the pattern given by a fingerprint in blood?
Leaving, Your Honor.
Sustained.
What is that consistent with? Let's start this way. Dr. Lee, in your observations of evidence at crime scenes, can you make observations from blood patterns with respect to fingerprints?
Yes,
How do you do that?
I recognize the shape, contour, or ridge characteristics.
All right. Now, with respect to that, what is your opinion of the pattern depicted on 1348?
All I can report to you is consistent with imprint pattern. I cannot definitively tell you this is a fingerprint.
What about this pattern makes it consistent with the pattern that would be caused by a bloody fingerprint?
Speculation, Your Honor. Objection or foundation.
It's have the general contour, have some appear to be certain pattern there, and any of those pattern which indicate indicative a pattern transfer, of course, enhancement will be able to show exact pattern.
Ask that we put now 1347 on it. Yeah, we should print this out, I'm sorry. Can we make
Right,
that
that'll be
1348A?
1348A.
While that's printing out, Dr. Lee, this imprint pattern, would the blood have to be wet at the time this imprint pattern was made?
Yes.
Now ready for 1347. Dr. Lee, looking at 1347, is this a proper focus?
Yes.
All right. Could you please describe to us the pattern here?
This is a pattern area which we noticed in this exhibit. This pattern area shows here, it's not a drop, it's not a spatter, it's not a smear, there's a contact impression type of pattern. Fiber-like material can be seen adhere onto the surface. This area consists of a large quantity of blood. No ridge characteristic can be clearly seen. However, in the middle,
No question.
in the middle, there are some appear to be pattern area, which consistent again with a imprint.
Now, the imprint that you've indicated
He's
by
all
the
right,
arrows,
but he giggles too much during court.
with
Even murder
one
cases, he's
finger
giggling all the
making
time.
contact
It's kind of rude.
imprint that you've indicated there.
Speculation, conjecture.
Sustained.
All right. In terms of the mechanism of transfer, is that imprint pattern consistent with a finger covered with blood making contact with the envelope?
Same objections, and also the drugs.
Sustained.
Again, Dr. Lee, based on your observations of fingerprint patterns at crime scenes, if a finger is covered with lots of blood and makes contact with a paper surface, will it necessarily leave a ridge design?
Characteristic. No, it will not leave any rich characteristic. Once the blood covered the whole surface, fill the laminate groove of the finger surface. When you have this contact, because abundance of blood, you only leave a general pattern. Will not transfer individual rich characteristics.
Is the pattern depicted here in 1347 consistent with a finger covered with blood to the point that it would make a contact impression in the envelope but not leave rich characteristics?
Same objections as to
Sustained.
All right? In terms of fingerprint impressions, is that consistent with an imprint of a finger covered with blood as you just explained before?
same objections.
Sustained. Let's move on.
Could you please describe for us in terms of mechanisms of transfer how that pattern might be consistent, if it is, with a finger imprint?
Sustained. Dr. Lee, this is a compression transfer, is that correct?
Yes,
All right. Did you examine that carefully as much as you could from the photograph?
yes.
Did you see anything that indicates that that might be a fingerprint?
Not only the contour.
Thank you. Next question.
So from the contour of this imprint, it is consistent with a bloody finger making contact with the envelope.
Same objections.
Overruled.
It consistent with either a finger or an object have same contour cause such transfer.
So it's either a finger or an object that has the same contour of a finger.
I think we've
Okay.
covered this.
Would that imprint have to be made when the blood was wet?
Yes,
Dr. Lee, the imprint that you described on 1348, the imprint you've described as 1347, the mirror image you've described under the picture close-up view 1B, are all those consistent with this envelope being manipulated when the blood was wet?
well, it indicates have contact. Assume those are fingerprint
I'm
pattern.
going to check at this point. I think that this was false declaration of objection.
Overruled. Answer will stand. Next question.
All right. Dr. Lee, assuming that these imprint patterns are consistent with fingerprints, what does this pattern indicate with respect to the manipulation of this envelope when the blood was wet?
Speculation, projection, or foundation.
Sustained.
Dr. Lee, with respect to the close-up view 1B and your observations of the glasses and the envelope, could the envelope be folded in that fashion while the glasses were in it?
Calls for speculation, conclusion, or foundation.
Foundation.
Well, were you able to examine the envelope and the glasses?
Yes,
All right. From your observations, could this, what you've described as a mirror image pattern in the close-up view 1B, have been made while the glasses were in the envelope with wet blood on the envelope?
No foundation.
Sustained.
Well, in terms of the fold, with the glasses in the envelope, would the glasses in the envelope prevent this the fold that we see in the close-up view 1B?
No foundation.
Overruled.
if the glass is in this area, very difficult to fall over the glass itself.
Non-responsive.
Overruled.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, for the record, maybe you can have the court in the paper pointed at this.
Pointed to,
Can I stand up?
yes, you may. Pointed to 1345 1B.
But he said if the glasses were in this area. Okay, could we just have the record reflect where he was pointing when he said that? Your Honor, just for the record, when he was pointing on the evidence found Douglas envelope exhibit, the photograph on the top center, bloodstain pattern 1, approximately bisecting the photograph in what appears to be a fold.
Thank you.
In fact, I would add to that description that the fold begins at the bottom of the picture.
No, counsel, the photograph speaks for itself. Let's move on.
Okay.
Blood transfers are wet. The envelope's been moved around.
Well,
It's at a crime scene. Let's proceed.
well, the mirror image, that's when the blood is wet, correct?
Yes.
We've established that.
We have the next one.
Your Honor, this is 1349, and it's entitled Evidence Found Envelope.
All right, thank you.
And Dr. Lee, could you please explain what these three pictures show?
These three pictures depicts the same envelope. Shows these three pictures were taken at different point of time. The first picture, second picture were provided to me by Attorney Shapiro. Those pictures depicts here appear to be taken by LAPD photographer. The third one is a picture which I took February 18, 1995 at Albany Medical Center.
Now, Dr. Lee, with the picture in the middle represent, the envelope is shown in the photograph in what we have been calling position number 1.
Yes,
So that is the photograph, the first photograph in time that we know of that envelope.
yes,
And the one to the left is position number 2,
yes,
and the one to the right are the picture taken at Albany Medical Center.
yes.
Okay. Now, could you describe to us some of the differences on these pictures between these envelopes?
The center envelope is this envelope which the first record, the first documentation which I can see. On the envelope, near the top region, large amount of trace material. Hair and fiber-like trace appear to be in this area. The one I just showed you previously, here some soil trace material already taken this area. The photograph which I received subsequently, those trace material was found to be absent. It's gone.
Okay,
It's no
fine.
longer
It's
on
gone.
this
It's
side.
no longer. Let's talk, guys, real quick before we end. We are on video 418 out of 493. Am I screaming at you? I didn't mean it. We are not close to the end of this guy. We have an hour-long video, a 4-minute video, a 2-hour-long video, a 6-minute video, a 1-hour video, 2-hour video, 2-hour video, 1-hour video. And then we're done with him, I think. So, there's no need for us to talk. There's too much of this guy left to start talking about what's coming up next, although we all know what's coming up next. We are now on part 3 of August 23rd. August 23rd has 5 parts, though. This poor guy talks for a long time on August 23rd. I feel like, and I don't know this, I feel like this has been the trial's most productive day, because we have 5 videos of it. 5. I guess that doesn't count. One of them is only 4 minutes long. 2 of them are only an hour long. So no, that doesn't count. That doesn't count. It just looked big. It looked big, but it just turned out not to be big. So we're getting close, but we still have a bit to go. Today's Tuesday the 23rd. Tomorrow's Christmas Eve. I'm going to live stream tomorrow morning. OJ won't be affected by this week. I'm going to live stream every day like I always do. Unless I don't wake up like I sometimes do. Look, I do this every single frickin' day. Every day. Every once in a while I'm going to screw up. No one can do something every day perfectly. I mean, I guess I can eat every day perfectly. I do that. I use the ladies' room every day with 0 complications. I do that. So people can do things every day if they want to. I guess. I don't know if anything can beat the Fung record. But if anything can, it is the Dr. Lee. Props. Mad props. Alright. I'm gonna get ready to take a nap. Oh, it's gonna be hard. I gotta prepare myself. I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for coming out. I really, really appreciate it. I hope that you guys have a great day. Bye.